rehearsal.
All right, Boozy Spirits live at the Food and Wine Festival in Northport, Alabama. Beautiful day, and we got a special guest.
What's a
From Clyde, Maine.
surprise guest?
It is a surprise.
I didn't know you were going to be here.
LC?
I tend to just appear in random spots sometimes, but yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
Sure. I was worried I have to drink wine all day. I hate wine.
I was, I'm here to help those that are in dire straits.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
There you go.
So tell us a little bit about you and about the company.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm LC May. I'm the Alabama State Manager for Clyde Mays. I'm also the National Brand Ambassador, so I travel the country, telling my grandfather's story and doing things like that. I'm primarily known, though, for being the grandson of Clyde May, the original maker. He was a moonshiner in southeast Alabama. Never sold a legal bottle in his entire life. So, I know we see in popular culture today, they make moonshine on TV and then they have a legal brand the next week. That was never my grandfather's dream or aspiration. He was just trying to provide for his family in a very rural area that didn't have a whole lot to offer, and he became quite notorious for it and started in 1946, did it until his death in 1990, and the only time between 46 and 90 that he wasn't making whiskey illegally is when he was in prison for 8 months for making whiskey illegally. So, so he's got the rap sheet to prove it. But so we've been available since 1946 and legal since 2001. So.
That's pretty cool. Which ones you got here today?
So we have my grandfather's original recipe, which is this yellow label. It's what we call Alabama style whiskey. Right. And then the rest are straight bourbons. This is a 92 proof straight bourbon right here. This is actually a brand new release from us to commemorate the opening of our new distillery in Troy, Alabama. The name of the distillery is Conecuh Ridge Distillery, so this is called Conecuh Ridge Straight Bourbon, but it is a product of Clyde Mays. It's just kind of it's going to be readily available here in the state of Alabama, but it's to commemorate the opening of the distillery. And then last but certainly not least is what we call our Special Reserve, which is a small batch, 6-year-old, 110 proof straight bourbon. So kind of full lineup here. So
which one's your favorite?
I've always been a little biased towards the original, understandably so. I think, for anyone who enjoys bourbon and whiskey can enjoy this, but also it's a great, I hesitate to call it a starter whiskey, but, for people that are looking to refine their palate and slowly build up their bourbon knowledge or know-how, this is a great place to go and start. But I think the Special Reserves, one of my go-to favorites as well.
Awesome. Let's try one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's drink wine.
Tell us a little bit about the new distillery.
Yeah, so
it's impressive.
Yeah,
same picture.
It's going to be a $30 million distillery in Troy, Alabama, which is about 20 minutes from where I grew up and where my grandfather lived and where he was making his whiskey. So it's not only coming home to Alabama, it's coming home to the area that he was impacting when he was alive and making his whiskey. So we're very excited about it. It's going to be just like something you'd expect to see on the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky. It's just going to be in Troy, Alabama. So when you're on your way to the beach or you're down that way for any reason, or if you want to make a special trip, and that is the reason, come stop by and see us. But distillery, aging, rick houses, bottling facility, little museum, retail center, bar, little courtyard for live music or weddings or events, whatever it may be. So
destination for sure.
Absolutely. So like I said, this is the original recipe. It's what we call Alabama style whiskey. This is actually the official state spirit of Alabama. So Alabama is one of only 2 states in the country that have an official state spirit or an alcoholic drink of any kind as an official beverage. We were the first and now one of 2. So kind of ironic they named it the official state spirit before we could even legally make it here in the state of Alabama. But we always like to do things a little, start here and then work our way.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good. Very very smooth, like you said. I guess
Yeah.
you're saying not starter whiskey.
Yeah, but I say it doesn't. You know, it's got enough there to where you can pick up the components and everything without being too soft or too harsh either. It's what I like about a lot of your really soft whiskeys or what are considered starter whiskeys. They just go down easy, but there's not a whole lot there. You can't pick up any of the nuances or the flavor profiles. It's just it's flat and easy to drink. And this is easy to drink, but you get a lot of those flavor components how you look. That's why I think it's a great whiskey for someone who has been drinking bourbon for 30 years and someone who's trying to get going on bourbon or whiskey.
Really good. It is good. Pick up a bottle of it.
Absolutely. So.
Oh, Matt will have it at his restaurant.
Definitely.
But like I said, I greatly appreciate y'all having me. You know, it's an honor anytime I get the opportunity to tell my grandfather's story in a shape, way, or form. That's the reason I do what I do every day. So I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So what about opening day? When is that looking like?
So we're shooting to have a grand opening on September 18th, which is my grandfather's birthday. So that's kind of the, wanting to do it around something special like that. Also, September's Bourbon Heritage Month. So it's just a good time to. It's still hot, but it's not like July hot. So hot's hot here in Alabama, but that's what we're shooting for right now. We plan to be open before then, but we have to train our staff. We have to get things bottled and going. So we're shooting to open to the public in September.
Okay. Awesome.
Distilling there now, are you?
We're about to be. That's something we're going to start here very soon. We're hoping in July is when we start distilling and bottling and doing everything, and then we'll have about 2 months under our wing before we open it to the masses, so to speak. So everything will be done there. It's a 24-inch column still from Vendome, which is basically the Rolls Royce of still makers, and a state-of-the-art bottling facility, which is really unique for us because a lot of brands, even though we're not a craft brand, we're not a large brand either, but to have the size bottling facility we have kind of shows our commitment to continuing to grow the brand and be a staple here in the state of Alabama.
I think it'll definitely grow it, having that destination people that
Absolutely.
Try the whiskey out for the first time and want to buy it all the time. So
That's right. Absolutely.
Alabama made.
You mind if I try this?
You try any one you want. So that's what they're here for.
And it's a nice dark color.
It's been one of our, that one that you're pouring has been one of our most award-winning products we've ever released. In the 2023 San Francisco World Wine Spirits Competition, it finished in the top 3 for best of show out of the whole competition, which, as I'm sure you can imagine, there's a lot of bourbons that are submitted to that competition. So it's for those who like your higher proof bourbons and everything, this is a really good one because it has everything you look for without knocking you back.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's really good. It has all the little nuances this one has, just more in your face in a good way.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more prominent on the nose, and then carries forward through the palate on the finish too.
I love the bottling too and the pictures.
Yeah, so in fact, these 2 bottles right here, we're going to be, all of our glass will soon be this glass where it's the flat back here, and everything. So these already say Connecticut Ridge Distillery on the base of the bottle here. So we are planning, once the product is bottled in Troy, that instead of saying USA, it'll say Alabama right there. We'll still have some USA bottling, of course, too, but that is the glass we're switching to.
And how's the Connecticut Ridge one different from?
So, for starters, it's a very unique proof. Almost, it's 100.6 proof, so it's not a whole number. But in addition to that, it's also a small batch. I should have mentioned that earlier. But what I like about that one is, when you think about bourbon, a lot of times you think of the most common notes in any bourbon. And let me also be clear that, if you nose that and say you get strawberry, and I nose it and say I get vanilla, neither one of us are wrong. That's the beauty of bourbon. There's no right or wrong answer.
Hear that, our viewers? People make fun of us.
Listen, that's that's what I try to tell people all the time, is that if everybody liked the same thing and everybody tasted the same thing, we'd only make one thing. There's a reason why there's 4 bottles on the table here. But your most common notes are things like vanilla and caramel and other baking spices, and I think this one does a really good job of almost rolling it up and having a little bit of all of that in one bottle, which I find that very unique across different bourbons and whiskeys I've tasted. But of course, like I said, that's my palate, so that doesn't mean that's right or wrong or anything like that.
That one was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Is that one readily available at ABC now? Or?
Yeah, so at this point, I can't say it's at every single ABC store you go into, because there's rural stores and stuff like that, but it can be in your most commonly shopped ABC stores. You'll find it here in Tuscaloosa and elsewhere as well.
Yeah, I want to say I saw it in Tuscaloosa this week.
It is a listed item, meaning that it's on replenishment. It's not one of the kind of thing where once it's gone forever or anything.
I think I almost bought a bottle and I was like, I don't know if I want to buy it or not. Like, never had it before.
Oh, so well, now you know. That's kind of the downside of ABC. You don't really get to try before you buy, but so then you get to meet me, and now you try it, and now you can buy. So
we'll tell all our people about it too. So
there you go.
Go buy some stuff. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
And thank you for what you're doing in Alabama, because we need this.
Listen, it's we have a very unique history. We started this brand before we could even legally make it here, and I know it's kind of back and forth. Hey, their contract is still and all of which that's how we've gotten our start. But honestly, when you come from a story from moonshining, I don't think you're going to have a complicated history, just to put it. I mean, all 4 of Clyde's sons, including my own father, have also been arrested at least one time for making whiskey illegally.
Beautiful.
So I'm just trying to break the family tradition. No, I'm trying to break the family tradition.
It's legal now.
It's legal, but I can say this, this is true to Alabama. You're speaking to someone who represents the brand every day. I'm born and raised. This is the only place I've ever lived, and I've traveled the country far and wide, been to 40-something states for work-related reasons, and after a couple of days, I'm ready to get home to sweet home Alabama after a couple of days. So.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank y'all very much.